Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian. This is Oxbuilt. I am going to show you how we converted Hail Mary's four-wheel drive system. But before that, you can notice that I am not in Hail Mary. I just wanted to touch real quick on the fact that I didn't document a lot of the Hail Mary build and get videos up on this channel, and I apologize for that. That was my intentions. I just found that the balance between filming, editing, being camera conscious, getting audio bites, and then working all day and editing out all night just wasn't a sustainable model for me. Shout out to all the people that actually do YouTube videos full time. It is a full-time job. It is time consuming and tedious if you're trying to put out good content, and it wasn't a sustainable model for me, being that this is a hobby and it's not my full-time job. So when I get the opportunity to work on the van, I really just dove into working on it. I did film a lot, and I still have videos to put out, and I will go back retrospectively and make videos of Hail Mary's interior, electrical, water, all the different systems, products I chose, why I chose them, and the processes of elimination that I kind of went through in the thought process of getting to that point. So apologies for not getting as much content up as originally intended. We also got hit with a huge project where I had to convert this once empty cargo trailer into a full-blown live broadcast production vehicle, which is my main line of work. That's my spiel. Apologies again. I will get more videos out on the Hail Mary build in the future, but let's get into the reason why you're here today, to watch the four-wheel drive conversion process begin, where I work directly with Traction Off-Road LLC, owner Tommy Arms in Camarillo, California, on converting my 2003 7.3 diesel Ford Econoline shuttle bus into a monster truck.
All right, everybody, it's time. We are here at TRA Motorsports, the home of Traction Off-Road. I got Tommy Arms here. Tommy, what's the plan?
Man, the plan's take your beautiful beast right here from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive, and it's just, we're gonna do the works on it.
Right on. What are we doing to this thing?
We're gonna go with the F450 axle, the 10 lug. I mean, it's just a gigantic, beefy axle. We're gonna hold your van up with some 3.0 coilovers from Solid Shock Company.
Nice.
Internal bypasses inside the shock. Then hold the axle under there with the WFO radius arms.
Yep.
I make brackets for going from the Econoline to any Super Duty radius arm. Then we also have the Traction Off-Road shock towers.
Nice.
Because there's not really a shock tower you could buy out there that'll hold a 3.0 coilover. To top it all off, we're doing the high steer kit from ARTEC Industries.
Right on. And this is overall going to be about an 8-inch lift.
About an 8-inch, but we have some room for up and down from the coilovers.
Right on, man. Well, let's get this puppy in here and let's get it going.
Sweet. Let's handle it.
The plan to give this van an 8-inch lift and 41-inch military tires meant I was looking for a builder that was confident in stretching the limits. I met Tommy through a friend, and we discussed the plan over the course of a year while I was building out Hail Mary's interior. I stopped by the shop early on and met Tommy back before I had sold my Starflight van, and his work was world class. His personality is one that is confident without being cocky. We got along right off the bat, and as you can see, his shop is not only full of insane projects, his wait list is a scroll of repeat customers, so that's pretty telling. I knew the challenge, and I needed a builder that was willing to take that on with me. I realized Tommy was the right choice for this custom build, so I waited my turn, and I couldn't be more hyped to work with Traction Off-Road on this monster four-wheel drive conversion.
Okay, sweet, we got the van up in the air, but before we dig into this, let's go take a look at the axle that we're about to send off to sandblast. We got your F450 axle. We tore it down a little bit. We already cut off the track bar mount. We already cut off the stock coil spring mounts. We're gonna go get it sandblasted, just so you know we're all nice and fresh. Once it comes back, then we're gonna just completely rebuild the axle and just start from a fresh slate. So this thing will be ready to go once we get it under there. So yeah, let's finish up these radius arm brackets, and then once we get them all bolted on, then we can start stripping down the whole front end. Finally finished up the last coat of the graphite paint on these bad boys. So Traction Off-Road brackets. These are the radius arm brackets for the van. They're a dual purpose for not only connecting the radius arm to the frame, but I incorporated a lift pad so that when we have it on the van, it's just a much safer spot to lift the vehicle and be able to cycle the suspension. And the whole reason I did that is no one else on the market has anything like this. Everyone else lifts from the frame, lifts from the suspension, and it's just not what I was feeling. So I decided to come up with something a little bit different, and this is what we got. Now that these are all done, let's bolt them on the van and we can start stripping down the van.
All right, we got the radius arm brackets on last night. They're all torqued to spec, and now we are going to lower the van and change the pick point from the front of the lift, where they are currently sitting on the radius arm brackets, the stock ones, to Tommy's radius arm bracket pads lift point. So we're gonna lower the van, we're gonna get some measurements on the wheel well so that we can measure our overall height at the end of the job to see how much lift we got out of the van. And we'll repick it and get it back up in the air. We can start stripping off the tires, wheels, and change out the rear leaf springs and just get busy. Here we go. All right, this is the official measure of the stock height. We got the stock 29s on here. Tommy's got it up. What are we at?
43 3/8.
43 3/8 to the body line. We're not going to do the wheel well because we might trim that and then that goes away as a measurement reference. So here we are, 43 3/8.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the back.
33 3/16.
33 3/16 to the line on the Hail Mary body here. It's not going to be universal, but for this build, it'll be a good reference. All right, let's see where we end up.
Sweet.
All right, she's up.
She's up.
First lift on the pads. Now she's settled.
Now the teardown begins.
All right, she's up. On custom TRA fabrication radius arm brackets, lift pad, we are up in the air. Almost time to get this thing stripped down, but first we just got the axle back from sandblasting last night. I got a coat of primer on it, and now I'm gonna paint it black. So I'm gonna get that done, and while that's drying, in between coats, I'm gonna start taking parts off this van. Let's go. Got a coat of paint on this. A couple coats. Gonna let it dry. Tommy's queuing up the music. DJ Tommy TRA.
Here we go.
Time to rip this baby apart. Prepping everything with WD-40 that's coming off.
The stock shock towers need to be removed and grinded flat to the frame so Tommy's custom shock towers can be fitted up and installed. Tommy sells his radius arm brackets and these shock towers all welded up, so hit him up if you need them for your projects. All right, everybody, we got the TRA Fab shock towers mocked up. They're tacked on. This is Tommy's designed to cover the 3.0 solid shock coilovers going on this truck. He'll finish this design and get it cut off, then we'll paint and get to put it back on. So, but looking good, feeling good. Woo! Tires showed up.
We're here.
Beasts.
Beef.
They gonna fit?
We're gonna make them fit.
They gonna fit under there? Or go in there? We'll find out soon enough.
All right, y'all, we got the rear leafs on. Got the Skies off-road shackles. Highly recommend those over the stock shackles. These are a bit thicker, 16th inch thicker. Got the springs in. A lot of arch there. We're gonna get the tires on and see how it sits. Stoked. All right, we got the leaf springs in. Stock tires on there. We got a 2.5, 22 inch wheel well. Moment of truth, we're gonna put this thing down on the ground and see what we got for an actual lift out of the Atlas springs. What do you think, Tommy? You ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Coming down.
Coming down. All right, moment of truth.
So center of axle, 40 inches.
Just under 40, and we were 33 and 3/16, so under 7.
Shooting for 8, so
6.
we're under 7.
6 and change. So I don't know. We'll get the Pirelli on there and take a look and see what we got and go from there. But we didn't get 8 out of it, and these aren't settled. They're not driven on or anything. So probably going to settle out another inch or so. Hoping for a little bit more, but we'll see what we got. We'll get the tire on and go from there. And the moment of truth is that is not enough space. So we are gonna have to add a lift block for now until we can get new springs ordered or come up with a plan B. But this is not enough clearance. Anyway, got a little bit more work to do. We'll figure it out. Tommy had these lift blocks, which will give me the clearance needed to continue building this van and get the front at the right geometry. So I'm gonna remove the tire and loosen the leaf spring, U-bolts, add the lift block, reassemble, and see where we're at and go from there. Definitely a bummer that the Atlas springs didn't provide an 8-inch lift with the specs that we gave them, because I gave them the right specs. Yeah, they just didn't hold up. So we are gonna have to come up with a plan B and figure it out. But for now, we're gonna add the lift blocks and go from there, so we can move forward with the build and address the spring issue down the road. But at least we're not so low that we can't continue. I think the lift blocks are gonna do the trick to get us to where we need to be. And I'll get those on and update just a moment. Adding the lift blocks helped get the rear up to where we needed to be in order to continue working on the front. It's important to get the van level and balanced, as close to ride height as possible, so the decisions that Tommy's making up front with the axle placement and suspension components holds true in the final product. It's a bummer the Atlas spring sacked out, but we have a plan B in the works, and we'll stay positive. Tommy's working on the old radius arms and radius arm brackets, but he just told me we have to, what with the rear leaf springs?
We got to cycle the rear leaves so that we could get the proper compressed shock measurement.
Okay, so we're ordering custom shocks and we need the compressed length. And so what's the process?
So process would be getting the axle out of the way, remove the U-bolts. We're gonna put some C-clamps right here to hold the leaf pack together. Remove all 4 of the leaf spring retainers. And then we'll remove the center bolt that holds the leaf pack together. Then slowly start removing the C-clamps. And we're gonna get you down to just this one main leaf pack. And then we'll be able to cycle that to see exactly how far up and the travel that you have with this leaf pack. And then once we get that, then we measure from eye to eye to get the exact compressed shock measurement for Jeff, because Jeff's going to end up putting a bump stop internally in the shock, and that'll help us just be exactly where we want to be on when we send this thing in the air.
Nice. When? Okay, TBD, jumping, Hail Mary. All right, well, we'll get to it. I'll start taking these apart and we will see what happens. We got the mock-up in place. So we had to mimic the thickness of the leaf springs there with some filler metal. We got the jack pushing up on the axle so that the single leaf spring's basically flat. I don't know if you can see that, but this is where we're gonna set the bump stop for the rear tire.
She's stuffed.
Real nice. That's about where we want to stop it. So we got a measurement of
24 and a half.
24 and a half. So we got the measurement for Jeff so we can make the custom solid shocks, and now we can pop this off and reassemble the spring.
We're gonna put them back in, cycle the suspension again, get everything dialed. We gotta put the hefty diff cover on too. You know, a bunch of little stuff to wrap up for the day. We're just gonna lower the truck a little bit so I can start cycling everything just a little lower to the ground. Coming down.
All right. Cycle test. Check. Coming together. Modifying?
Yeah.
What do you got? Track bar mount?
Track bar mount. This is a universal bracket from ARTEC, and we're not going to leave the 12 millimeter hole. We're going to go to 3/4 just out of girth beef.
As mentioned before, we opted for a high steer kit from ARTEC on this build, which, as you can see there on the left knuckle, keeps the drag link in the tie rod way up away from rocks on the trail. Tommy made the drag link, tie rod, track bar, upper shock towers, and lower shock mounts in-house. He used Welding heavy-duty adjustable bungheims for everything that needs threaded adjustability. It's crazy to watch him dream up a piece, draw it in the computer, and shortly after he's welding it into place. It's a game changer not having to wait on custom parts, and with a build like this, it saved a ton of time and money, and you're truly only limited to your imagination.
All right, everybody, last night we got Hail Mary on the ground for the first time at ride height. The back is sitting on its tires, on its springs. The front's sitting on the jack stands, as you can see, because we don't have springs yet on the coils, but we set the ride height to where Tommy wants it to end up. So this is a really, the first moment we can see the actual look of the van, and it's pretty exciting. What do you think, Tommy?
I freaking love it.
Yeah, a lot of work the last couple weeks. Let's start in the back. Let's talk about what we did.
Pretty much we start out with, stripping her down, getting rid of all the brakes. These brake lines happen to be really corroded on this Hail Mary project, but We're gonna end up putting all stainless lines on there. You know, I mean, the back is sitting really pretty where we have it.
We got new rotors, brakes, calipers, everything going on. We're just waiting for, you know, the final days to get all that stuff in.
Once we cross off all the fab stuff, that's really when we're gonna piece together and do the final assembly with all the brand new stuff. In the front, we do have that F450 axle with the 10 lug. You know, it's called a Super 60 because it's actually 3.5 inches wider per side than the regular 60 that comes from the 350s and 250s. And you know, let's just say we needed it too to help get these big tires under there. And to do that, we use the WFO radius arms and attach those to my Traction Off-Road radius arm brackets. To hold it up, it's got no springs on it right now, but the Solid Shock company, you know, we're using a massive 3.0 coilover. The ride height is exactly half of the travel of the shock. Next is pretty much just getting the right spring rate for keeping that stance. We really stepped it up this time, doing everything from the high steer. You know, you got almost 2 feet of ground clearance from your tie rods to the ground. I mean, that's just awesome to see that, you know. We're coming out with one-of-a-kind build right here. Finishing off all the key little details on everything takes way longer than getting to this point. And, you know, you're probably double the time into the detailed features that no one bats an eye on. And that's really where the next few weeks are gonna be in, you know, just getting everything dialed, all welded up, primered, painted, and back to assembly. Then we're gonna get back into the transmission, the transfer case, the whole driveline. So once the driveline's all dialed, we're gonna send it. Sending it meaning we're gonna off-road it. I'm probably gonna off-road this thing way harder than Brian, and you know, we're gonna have to have a few pictures of his face on this when I'm driving it, because I don't necessarily think he's gonna think that it's gonna be capable as much as it's gonna be capable of. So.
All right, well, I can't wait to get this thing on the ground and get it test driven, but we are signing off from Traction Off-Road for now. Tommy's shop's gonna be busy getting this thing wrapped up and finalized. Thanks for watching part 1. Part 2 will have the rest of the build and us out in the dirt. Can't wait, check it out, coming soon. Thanks again to Tommy. Thanks for watching. Part 2 coming soon. Make sure you check it out. Hit the like and subscribe. See you next time.